July 14, 1944, Northern England. 4 years after the fall of France, the tricolor once again rose into the wind. Not in Paris, not in Marseille, but on British soil. It was Bastille Day, celebrated by men who had refused to accept defeat, men who had crossed deserts, oceans, and continents to continue the fight. These were the soldiers of the Free French Forces, united under General Charles de Gaulle, and among them stood one of their most iconic formations, the 2nd French Armored Division, commanded by the indomitable General Jacques-Philippe Leclerc. By midsummer 1944, these men were weeks away from returning to their homeland. But before the engines roared across liberated France, before their entry into Paris, and before Leclerc fulfilled the oath of Kufra, they trained, marched, drilled, and prepared in the quiet fields of England. This rare archival footage captures their final days of preparation, the discipline of their parades, the intensity of their maneuvers, the emotion of their Bastille Day ceremonies, and the iron determination behind their mission. The film opens with a solemn gathering at Hornsey. 4 platoons of Moroccan Spahis, the mechanized cavalry of the Free French, stand in perfect formation before the residence of Colonel Remy. These men came from North Africa, from cities and deserts alike, long before the war reached Europe. Many had fought in the early campaigns, escaped capture, or joined the Free French after crossing mountains and sea routes. Their uniforms, their turbans, their cavalry heritage all stand as living symbols of France's global struggle. As Bastille Day ceremonies begin, the French tricolor is raised slowly. A close-up captures the fabric lifting into the air, an act that was forbidden in occupied France. For these men, the flag is not just a symbol, it is a promise. Colonel Remy raises his hand in salute. The Spahi march, their steps synchronized, boots striking the ground with precision. They present arms beside the road. Their discipline is immaculate, their posture proud. This ceremony was more than a ritual. It was a message to the world and to themselves. France was still alive, France still stood, and France would return. The next sequence transports us to Dalton Home, where General Leclerc had established the headquarters of his division. The residence appears as a peaceful countryside estate surrounded by the calm fields of Yorkshire, a stark contrast to the battles that awaited his men. Leclerc, known for his calm authority and unbreakable resolve, inspects the honor guard, accompanied by his aide. His presence exudes discipline. Even in brief silent footage, the weight of his leadership is felt. This is the same commander who once crossed the Sahara with a handful of men to continue the war. The same man who pledged not to lay down arms until France was free. The soldiers before him represent every corner of the French world: Europeans, Africans, islanders, sailors, cavalrymen, engineers. Many had left behind families in occupied cities. Others came from colonies thousands of kilometers away. What united them was not homeland, but purpose. Dalton Home became the temporary heart of Free France, a place where plans for liberation were shaped in the final weeks before D-Day operations expanded. The footage transitions into large-scale movement exercises near Sledmere. This is where the mechanized strength of the division is truly visible. Armored columns cut across the fields in long, disciplined lines. M8 howitzer motor carriages. Half-tracks moving in coordinated waves. Recon vehicles with their crews scanning the horizon. Convoys belonging to the Regiment de Marche du Tchad, the core infantry regiment of Leclerc's force. An officer peers through binoculars, assessing distances and terrain. The camera then captures a vehicle emblazoned with the word Lorraine, a reminder of the land taken by Germany in 1940. For these men, the war was not abstract, it was personal. A 57mm anti-tank gun is rolled into firing position. Crews take their places, running through drills with calm precision. The commander mounts a jeep, signaling the next phase of the exercise. Engines roar as half-tracks and armored cars advance in formation, mud spraying beneath their wheels. These were not ceremonial drills. This was the final sharpening of the blade. The men knew that soon they would be fighting not on English soil, but in hedgerows, villages, and cities of France itself. Another remarkable portion of the footage documents the Armored Marine Regiment, a unit composed not of traditional Marines, but of sailors who became soldiers after France's collapse. Refusing surrender, they turned from sea to land, retraining themselves to operate armored vehicles and support ground combat. We see them preparing their vehicles, tightening steel plates, checking weapon mounts, inspecting communication equipment, running maintenance on engines. They work with the quiet confidence of men who have rebuilt their identities from scratch. General Leclerc, accompanied by Colonel Dios and other senior officers, inspects their ranks. He speaks briefly with a few of them, offering encouragement before examining their armored cars. One shot shows a French flag fluttering above a smaller tricolor bearing the Cross of Lorraine, the emblem of Free France, and the symbol of refusal, resistance, and return. These men were unlike any other military unit. Their transformation from sailors to armored troops embodied the resilience and adaptability of the Free French forces. The footage concludes with General Leclerc standing with two officers, the French flag behind him. He looks focused, aware that the coming weeks will test everything his division is trained for. He walks along the line of the honor guard one last time, inspecting the men who will soon be fighting at his side. After the review, he steps into his staff car. The guard, led by a bugler, marches away in sync. The music is lost to history, but the pride is visible even in silence. These are the last images of the 2nd French Armored Division before they embarked toward France. Within 6 weeks, they would liberate Paris. Within months, they would push deep into German territory. And within a year, Leclerc would be at Berchtesgaden. Though the archival footage is noted as mediocre in quality, it is historically priceless. It captures a nation without a homeland, but not without hope. It is the living record of Free France in the final hours before redemption.